Good afternoon, everyone. So, yeah, this is going to be a quick stream. It's more a way of just almost documenting what I'm doing and keeping in touch with you guys so you can keep sending me good advice, because after the last stream, someone actually posted a suggestion, Legacy Reborn textures, and I remembered that's what I used in Tale of Two Wastelands. So I'm trying it out for Fallout New Vegas. I was actually... oh god. Sorry about the noise outside. I was actually building up a collection of LOD mods so I could regenerate the LOD when I read this suggestion, so... but yeah, so Legacy Reborn, it's basically high-definition vanilla. And it is what I use on Tale of Two Wasteland. Now, you're going to see some stuttering, and we haven't quite got to the bottom of why. I think it's because I'm running at about 117 frames a second, which is just below the 120 required to keep it stutter-free on the stream. Please understand, I am not seeing any stutters in-game. I will be able to fix this. Well, I would be able to fix this if I were doing a Let's Play or something. I would be able to fix it so that it was stutter-free on both ends, probably by locking it at 60 frames a second. But for this testing purposes, just bear with me. I'm building a collection for people to use, not for me to make videos with. So if you see stutters, just understand that's nothing to do with the collection and everything to do with running this old game and streaming it. And it's purely something you're seeing, not me. So I will try not to move around as much because I realise it is somewhat bothersome. Right, it does... the textures do look nice. More vanilla. I prefer these to NMC's. And I think I prefer them to NMC's Washed Out Wasteland as well. Let's just remove that. I'm trying to find the Washed Out. Oh, actually, I had the Washed Out Wasteland installed anyway. I probably wouldn't need that because I'll be overriding it. FK, are you not well? Go to bed. Why? You are not obliged to be here. It's a voluntary task being a moderator. Look after yourself. Yeah, so this is NMC's Washed Out. And I do like NMC's Washed Out. It is a good look. It's very vanilla, but it is a little browner. It is a little browner. But as we already ascertained, I don't like the roads. I don't feel like I need the washed out one if I'm going to use Legacy. So I've downloaded the quality edition. I've been using the balanced edition of Legacy Reborn. You're in bed, got earplugs in, so I'm very muffled. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. It's just a funny image. So yeah, I'm going to try the actual, the 2K, 4K version of the mod as well, but I'm not sure it's needed. Again, with Fallout New Vegas, it's best not to push it unless you really notice a difference. I mean, some people feel like you cannot push a game that's this old. You can push a game this old. Even on a rig like mine. God, that really is very stuttery when I move. But again, only on the stream. Right, so this is Legacy. I prefer it. I do. I think it's closer to vanilla. And I do prefer it to NMC's. Again, I've still got NMC's as the base. So there's a whole heap, because NMC's overhauls everything. Legacy Reborn is just the landscape. So I do like this. The question is, do I prefer this to sandstone? One good thing about this is it's... Oh. I was going to say it's already got the lod loaded, but that lod looks... That looks distinctly NMC, doesn't it? Maybe that's why I had the washed out. Yeah. No, the lod there looks NMC. Alright. So, probably until I generate my own lod, NMC's washed wasteland is probably worth keeping in. I mean, I'm going to generate my own lod anyway. One thing in NMC that I always manually remove is the vault gates. I really don't like the NMC one. I'll have to check that one out. So, yeah, okay, so...
Welcome, minion.
Thank you, Moonown, for the resub. Is this for the base game or TTW? This is for the base game. So, right. I'm going to remove the balanced edition. I want to try the quality edition, see if I can spot a difference. And... it needs to be one I could spot easily enough that I don't have to go looking for it. If I have to go looking for it, then, in my opinion, it's not worth it. By the way, incident in Manchester this morning. Oh, gee, what? What incident? I've got family down there. What? I mean, I've not had any alerts from anyone. Oh, okay, a stabbing. Oh no, good grief. It's not good. Oh God, it's really close as well. It's really close to where I used to live. And luckily, I think my family now all live a little further away from there, but unfortunately, I'm going to send a message. Bear with me, guys. Sorry about this. I'm pretty sure I would have heard something from them. If anyone I knew. Okay, yeah, one wish we could mod the real world sometimes, tweak it a little. Yep. All right, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm just going to keep my eyes on the news on my feed as well. So if occasionally I seem distracted, I'm just waiting to see. My guess is, like my family now are quite far away from that, and as is, I mean, I don't think anyone I grew up with, or at least knew well, is still in that area. Right. Sorry. Yes. Quality edition. Right. So this has got to come after NMCs. It's got to come after all of those. I'm never sure with these, the New Vegas mesh improvement. I mean, these, you would assume that these meshes have been set up correctly for these. You know what? I'm just going to go with after on all of these. I'd have to check. All right, let's redeploy. What player homes you recommend without mentioning after school special? The van. The end. There you go. The van. That is the only home you will ever need. If you're the sort of person who does not fast travel, the van is the home. You can hear that on my microphone, right? I was watching my microphone react to that. Okay, so this is the 4K version. So that's an NMC texture anyway. I'm just double checking. Those are 2K. I don't have them on maximum. When you get really close to these NMC textures, you can see they're not 4K. Right? So now if we look at the legs, right now you can definitely see the improved texture. It's absolutely noticeable. It really is. Whether it's worth it, it's hard to say. It is hard to say, especially on landscape. Here's the thing with landscape. Landscape is not something you see close up a lot. Like, you might come here and be looking at the sign and thinking, oh, and then you'll notice a terrible texture. The same is true with, say, doors and people. Weapons, bad textures you might see quite a lot, but landscape less so, I think. So I think I'd probably get away with the balanced version, although, oh god, it is horribly stuttery for you, isn't it? Ugh. Oh god, I forgot Windows 11 does things a little differently. I realize that that is absolutely horrible for you guys. That is just manage 3D settings. Yes, sorry for a second. I fused out. I'm gonna lock it at 60. I'm not playing the game, so I don't need 120 frames a second. As I've said, do not judge what you are seeing on screen. This is because my capture card only captures 60 frames a second, and what is going on? And I'm playing the game at 120, and there's a little bit of a discrepancy, which is why you're getting the little stutters. If I lock this at 60, or 58 sometimes is a good option as well. But if I lock it at 60, as far as I know, it'll probably get rid of the stutters for you. Or I miss NVIDIA. This is my first and last AMD. AMD! Last time I used AMD, my verdict on it was great hardware, awful drivers. It was such a pain in the ass to get working with lots of different games. It was an SLI card. It was one of those cards that actually came with 2 cards on 1 card. Water-cooled block. Real nice piece of kit. But getting it to work on games was just an absolute pain in the backside. NVIDIA did SLI way better. It wasn't called SLI on AMD. Crossfire it was called, I think. That's less stuttery for you, yeah? 60 for... Oh, it's still... No, it's still stuttering. It's still stuttering. It is still stuttering, the stream. I am not 1000% sure what is going on then. I don't know why, but it's not on game. It's not in my game. My game is still smooth, albeit 60 frames a second. But it's not important for this. I'm not sure it's worth using the big pack for textures. I haven't decided. Now the road is better than the vanilla road. It's also a lot better than the NMC road. It's light, but I still think I prefer... Just going to stick that back at 120. Don't know why I even bothered trying to do those things. It might be one of those things with Fallout New Vegas where I have to run it in I'm wondering why. It wasn't doing this at first. It's once I started loading it up with mods, isn't it? It just started to go funky. I'm probably just hitting below the 120 mark. But the fact that I limited it to 60 and we still got stutters means occasionally it's dropping below 60. That what you're getting on those stutters shows that I'm dropping below 60 every now and again, like really every now and again. But I'm not noticing it as much on my monitor because, of course, it's variable refresh rate. Can't stream in variable refresh rate as far as I know. So, yeah, that's what that is. Please, again, understand, don't judge the collection I'm creating by that. What was I doing, guys? Oh, yes, I was gonna try a different road. And it was the lighter one, right? Yes. And this one has to come... No. After. But yeah, so did any of you guys see the difference between the big pack and the small pack? Not small. Balanced. Again, it's only the landscape that's changed. I feel like going back to the balanced is probably the sensible thing to do to make this safer, as it were. Yeah, you can even see... What's weird is I don't feel like I get it when I'm not moving. So, it's just such an odd thing. And I'm not seeing it in my game. Anyway, that's not been deployed. Knuckle arc option. What are we talking about? Oh, we're talking about NVIDIA arc. Okay, yes. And AMD. Got it.
Welcome, minion.
Who was that? That was Quintessa. Thank you for the resub. Almost the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. Yes, indeed. One more month. Right, so this is with the road mod we liked. It doesn't look too bad, actually, does it? It's kind of a nice mix. I just... Oh, no, there we go. Stutters again. These stutters on the stream. But I will try and figure that off stream, though. I will try and figure... Because that could be something where I just need to keep tweaking the settings. Maybe make it full screen borderless instead of full screen. But that doesn't look too bad, right? It's very vanilla, but the road is lighter. I do like this road texture. I do like it. Have I looked at sandy roads? I do. It's too... They just look... The roads look wet, unfortunately. However, the Sandstone Desert mod. Now, this is going to overwrite the Legacy one, but I don't know if it overwrites all of the Legacy one. Or whether it's worth keeping Legacy underneath Sandstone if I decide to use it. Oh, no, I should have redeployed after changing that rule. Having seen the more plain roads from the previous mod, I prefer the less busy version of the road textures. Okay. Sandy Road needs real-time reflections. Right. I mean, if I start using that, I might. I mean, a lot of these things will get changed anyway. Okay, so this is See, the Lord is the NMC's washed out wasteland Lord, by the looks of things. It's still not too bad, because the NMC's washed out is very similar to vanilla. But I'm now wondering what we've got left of Legacy. Because the sandstone one has now replaced, like, the rocks. So the rocks and the ground are now a lot lighter. Or are they? Yes. They are lighter. There's still a slight red tint, like vanilla. But we've definitely got a mismatch on the Lord. And the road under textures no longer match. Which is not a big surprise, because the terrain here is lighter. So I don't know. I don't know what I prefer. Do I prefer Legacy or do I prefer Sandstone? That's a real conundrum. And again, I don't even know if there's... Oh no, that's not what I like to do. I wanted to put that on as well. So yeah, this is where you get mod indecision, isn't it? This is, I don't know what I prefer. I think visually I'm preferring the sandstone one. I like the lighter feel. But I'm being told that overall Nevada has a more red tinge to it. So the vanilla game actually has a bit of a red tinge. So Legacy's probably closer to reality. Right, got the road. The under texture's working better. Okay. Yeah, the under textures work really well with the sand stone mod. You see what I mean? It just, the game looks, well, I'm going to say more deserty, but you know what I mean by that. I mean classically desert, because it's a much lighter colour. It's closer to tan than it is reddy brown. But then the question becomes, how many textures are left over from Legacy? And is it worth using? I still like the way this looks. I love the way the road looks with the light textures. So yeah, definitely would have to generate the LOD though, because the LOD's completely wrong. So what do you guys think? Do you prefer Legacy's vanilla colour? Do you prefer the sandstone one? Because if I prefer the sand one, I almost certainly want to check and see how many textures are in these meshes and textures are in here, and see if there's any point even having it. I suspect there probably is. There's probably a lot more going on in that mod than in Sandstone Desert, right? I don't know though. There's a hell of a lot going on. So yeah, they both seem to be doing the same thing. Dragon Killer prefers Legacy. Yeah, it is more realistic. Out of curiosity, may want to do some traveling. I am going to have to do a huge amount of traveling to test out the look and feel. But I just want to get some baseline, some ideas of what I'm doing before I start running around. I did some messing around with the old setup with sandstone in various different places. But to really do it justice, I have to stick on God mode and just start running from Good Springs and do a full circle of the land. But doing that for each possible setup is somewhat difficult. All right, well, if I've removed the sand one for now. If I do that, though, I should... I mean, I'm going to try it. I should probably remove these under textures. Oh, I didn't have that installed correctly. I wonder how the hell that deployed. Interesting. But yeah, so far, no one's really said much other than one person who said legacy. Moonarm, I'm a vanilla style guy myself. Okay. So you prefer legacy, because legacy is very vanilla. Legacy is very, very vanilla. And I do like legacy. I will admit, it's the one I used for Taylor 2 Wastelands. And I do prefer it to NMC. So this is... This is Legacy, right? Or do we still have the Sandstone one in? Am I having... Am I having deployment issues? Now I feel like the rock textures have changed. The rock textures have definitely changed. Okay, the under texture doesn't look too bad, actually. The under texture on the road gets rid of some of the black tint, maybe? What does it? I see some there. Should really... You like the rocks. Well, those are the legacy rocks. The big question then, 4K or 2K? I mean, that's a... Again, are you guys noticing the difference in the textures on rocks and ground? And if so, is it just because you're currently looking for it? If you were playing, would it matter too much? Because the balanced version obviously is going to have less impact on things like loading stutters, etc. 2K, 4K is unnecessary. Well, the big problem is the pack I'm currently using is a 2K/4K. Okay, this is without the under textures. Without the under textures, it still has that very black tint around the edge. You see near to the road? Oh god, I am so sorry about these. I wish I could get rid of the stutters on the stream. I have to remember that it's stuttering for you guys and slow down a little bit, because I feel like I'm moving around feeling like you're getting the same 120 frames a second experience I'm getting, and you're not. You're getting this horrible stuttery experience. Seems hard to notice the stutter, to be honest. Okay, well, that's good. Alright, so, yeah. This... Is that parallax or just texture issue? It's always been the way. The base game has this. It has darker textures. The roads in vanilla are slightly darker than the roads I'm using, you see. They are. These roads look far more worn and, more importantly to me, sun-bleached, which I like. I like the sun-bleached tarmac. With the under texture from this mod on, it's deploying. You wouldn't notice it. Yeah, so the legacy textures are 2K and 4K. The balanced version's probably more in the region of 1K. I don't know for sure. I'd have to double check on that. But again, because it's landscape textures, I question how much we would notice that while playing the game, not looking for it. Again, textures you tend to see are the ones like people's faces, clothes, doors, walls, tables, things like that. Things that you would look at, but you very rarely just crouch down and stare at the floor. So, let me just slow this down again. You can see now the under texture I've just applied removes the black look at the side of the road. I'm guessing the idea was, well, these roads contained black asphalt and it's mixed in with the gravel or the ground on the side of the road, and that's why those textures are darker. But as we've already said, first of all, the asphalt would be practically white at this point, if it was still even here. To be honest, after 200 years, the fact that it's still here is fairly ridiculous. But if bits of it had flaked off and gone into the ground, it would have gotten blown around within just a few months. Years, absolute most, before I think the discoloration would have disappeared. So I don't know. However, with the vanilla textures, the black doesn't look too bad. It especially doesn't look too bad if you make the road darker. So I'm going to remove the lighter road mod. And this will show you the Legacy Reborn textures, which are very vanilla, but I feel, well, honestly, are a bit boring. Funny thing about the Vegas heat, when it comes to signs around here, most turn black, like they've been cut for about 5 years and need replacing. Yeah, the fact that there are any signs left is fairly ridiculous, but I love my stop sign, so I'm keeping a nice clean stop sign. This is purely vanilla road now. Sorry, Legacy Reborn road, which is very similar to the vanilla colours, I believe. And it is a nice texture. But even still, honestly, I still find the fact that the road by the side of it is discoloured to be a little annoying. Although, you know what? I might be wrong. Maybe after 200 years, colour of roads does seep into the ground and then not get blown away by the wind. I don't know. Did you look at the new Legacy Reborn author's road texture? No, I didn't. I will check that out. Yeah, see, I just love my stop sign. I love my stop sign. The fact that it's completely unrealistic is... to be honest with you, you have to sort of go away from realism in Fallout because nothing about it's realistic. That car probably would just have disintegrated by now. I actually don't know how long a car would last. I'll be honest, I don't know how long a car would last. But I've seen cars that are like 20 and 30 years old, having been sat derelict somewhere, that look worse than that car. Like 20 and 30 years. So, I don't know. The vanilla undertextures I probably wouldn't notice. But I do like the very bleached road textures. I think it gives a bit of contrast as well. I'm going to be absolutely... Metal is tough. Do you know what's tougher than metal? Time. That and the weather. And do you know what this truck's had to deal with? An awful lot of both. I mean, probably not that much rain, but enough rain. Don't they get some rain in Nevada? Like... this thing will have been hit with wind, sand. I mean, it would be... yeah, you got some 2 days ago. I mean, I really feel like... but then I'm not going for realistic because Fallout is not realistic. You know, tins of beans are not realistic. Sand acting like sandpaper for 200 years would have super pitted it. Yeah, very least. So, don't think the glass would not be there. The glass would have simply dribbled out. Most people don't realise this. Glass is fluid. Yeah. You put a pane of glass in a window, over time it will get thicker at the bottom than the top. So if it hadn't got shattered... and just fallen out, it probably would have dribbled out, so to speak, and then fallen out. Doesn't glass last thousands of years in weather? No. Not as far as I know. Recheck that fact, Gopher. What? Does glass not... doesn't it? I thought glass just got slowly thicker over the years. But like, I'm talking decades. Because we used to have bits of glass in some windows we had that really did... They were like wobbly at the top of the frame and kind of... Gopher is right, glass sags. I thought it did! Don't get me wrong, guys. I don't mean literally you look at it and if you put a camera on it over a year it would sag. But I'm talking like a huge amount of time. You've got to remember, though, we are talking 200 years. Depends on the type of glass. That's probably also true. It's a conspiracy, Gopher. Could be. The idea of flowing glass is a myth. Okay. I'll take your word for it. I tell you what does sag, though. Lead. And those old stained glass windows, lead definitely sags. So... But anyway, I think as a general rule, if you see something that's from pre-war and it still looks like it could probably be fixed up by a good mechanic, it's probably a little unrealistic. And if you see something from pre-war in a tin and think, yum yum, that would be nice, don't. Could be just one of those urban myths I've known about. But I do still stand by the idea that 200 years in this environment would probably have been enough time for the glass to get, shattered at the very least. I mean, that's 200 years of people walking past it, possibly drunk, and not smashing them. That in itself would be a bloody miracle, if you ask me. Anyway, this is not what I was just doing a quick stream to touch base on this and get some opinions. I'm thinking legacy, you see. This is what I did with Taylor 2 Wastelands. I'm thinking just doing the balanced one rather than the 4K one, in spite of it, you know, looking fairly amazing. And I'm only doing that because, generally speaking, I don't look at the textures of things like that. I think I'm going back to the other road. I think I am. I like that road. How's your mouth? More or less healed. That's one of the things with wounds in your mouth. They heal stupidly fast. Have you noticed that? Yeah, they heal really nicely. So. Or were you just saying that to make me remember the pain? Make me suffer? Yeah, no way that would not have been smashed. I mean... Anyway, my point was, I'm not really bothered about realism. Unless it's so unrealistic that my brain has a problem with it. Like really nice, shiny, black asphalt. For some reason, bugs me. When I see road retextures and they've got black asphalt, it bothers me. That really does. Whereas the fact that it's got paint bothers me less. And I can't explain why. Because both are unrealistic. The paint would never have lasted. As long as the paint looks worn, though, I probably will get over it. But the black asphalt in NMCs really bugs me. Really does bug me. So this, I just find this road more... I think it punctuates the landscape better. It is also more realistic. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. But also, it's probably one of the few textures you're more likely to glance at, which means yet less reason for having the 4K version. I will admit, the 4K version is nice, right? Well, 2K and 4K. I shouldn't assume it's 4K. The quality edition's 2K and 4K ones. The balanced edition, I can't remember what it is. I'm just going to do another deploy on that. Well, think of the car's lack Think about lack of cars on the road. The damage is a bit hard to believe. Faded, yes. Damage, not really. Actually, asphalt and roads, as far as I know, will crumble over time. They will crumble, especially if there were cracks in the road. And you generally get cracks quite a lot in roads. You don't always notice them, but where vehicles have gone over them. So, I don't know. I couldn't say for sure. But like if you get a crack in a road and then leave it for a couple hundred years, the fact that it's eroded away from where the crack started wouldn't surprise me too much. But I mean, again, you might be right. It might actually be more sensible to have a road that's less crumbled and yet more sun-bleached. But again, I genuinely don't know. Because what I will tell you with roads roads and pavements, what you will often find is there will be subsidence under the surface and you will get like small depressions and holes. And then as cars go over them, they'll press the tarmac into the hole so it'll sink. But even if you don't, what you can get over time is the surface just drops in and then it breaks up. And once the surface has broken up, once you've no longer got that nice smooth surface, it becomes very, very vulnerable to the weather. So it is possible that these just were points of weaknesses under the road, they subsided, and then the whole thing over time is just... But I do understand what you mean. It might be a case of the wear would be a lot more even, almost like this. Almost like this, could be. So yeah, I understand what you mean. But I do think roads are a lot less robust than people think. Roads need constant maintenance, even without traffic on them, actually. So, and this is especially true in cold climates. I couldn't tell you about hot climates. Not really. Obviously, I live in a cold climate, and I can tell you now, cold will buckle a road. Cold will actually cause cracks in roads. And again, as soon as you get a crack on something like this, it becomes very vulnerable to all sorts of weather. Massively. Same with if you get subsidence underneath. Okay, what was I doing? Alright, I forgot. See, the fact that I forgot what I was doing is telling. I just changed the textures from the 2K, 4K version to the lower one. Question is this texture part of Legacy or is this part of the road mod? I don't think it is. I feel like these textures are still pretty damned good. I think maybe when you get really close to them, you might start noticing it, but honestly, these textures are not ones that are going to bother me as I'm legging around the wasteland. And so if it is a little less of a load on the old PC, I think that's probably the way to go. In the Nevada desert, the sand would have blown and covered the roads. I thought there was no sand in the Nevada desert. I was told that there's no sand there. Or do you mean dirt? But yeah, probably the roads would be covered with dirt by now, unless someone was sweeping them. There is sand there. Someone told me you can only get sand deserts in a place where there used to be seas. I don't know if that's true. Somebody just told me off for using the sandstone texture mod. They said there's no sand in Nevada. It's not a sand desert. There's sand. I'm going to take your word for it. I don't live there. Mostly dirt and dust. Anyway, so I'm thinking. Sorry if I sound like I'm shouting. You guys can hear that, right? You can hear that as the truck goes past my window. Death Valley is in Nevada. Oh, is it? It's one of those It's one of those things where there is sand in certain places, but not every. Does anyone know if Good Springs is filled with sand? There's a truck reversing. He wasn't reversing. He was just going forward. It's a digger. They beep no matter what they're doing. As soon as they go any sort of speed, they beep. Anyway. I think I'm going with Legacy. I do like Sandstone, but I think I'm going with Legacy. I think I'm putting Legacy on top of NMCs. And I still think I'm going to keep the comprehensive textures. What were they? They were from, I can't remember. They're based upon someone else's textures. These are just overall upscales of textures. They're not brilliant because they're just the vanilla textures boosted up using a tool, but they are noticeably better in certain places. I've put that as the total base. I've then put NMCs on top of that because obviously handcrafted textures are generally better. And then on top of that, Legacy Reborn, which just covers the landscape stuff. I don't know how many textures are going to be left over from these, but I might even find a lot of other mods that improve all the textures. So there might end up being very few textures from these that make it into the collection, at which point I might actually remove it. Anyway, thank you for just letting me sound off on you guys. That's basically what this was. I just needed to sound off a little bit because I'm now in the process of trying to create a LOD. Before I run around like a maniac, seeing how it looks, I want to get the LOD sorted out because obviously the LOD popping in and out will affect my experience. So I'm a long way off being able to say what I prefer, but I need to get the process going. Get the LODs generated, then run around, do a full test, and then if I don't like it, change something, repeat the process. So anyway, I will not be doing any Let's Play recording today, as you can hear. So anyway, yes, so thank you guys for just touching base with me. Oh, I'll be streaming tonight, Grounded 2 with Che. If you care to join me, usual time, 8:30 p.m. That is Central European time. Here, or, well, here, wherever you're listening to me on. So, thank you, and I'll see you guys later.